Now on Primetime, some of you may wake up to rain tomorrow morning. Plus, we are tracking 2 first alert weather days. Plus, more jobs could be coming to Chester County. An international brand wants to build a headquarters right here. The decision is now in the hands of Governor Henry McMaster. But first.
118 on target 1042.
118, 10-4.
The final call for 2 deputies killed in the line of duty. A community tries to find the words to say thank you and goodbye as beloved sons and deputies are laid to rest. Good evening. Thanks for joining us here at Primetime at 7 o'clock. I'm Maureen O'Boyle. Today we saw those left behind to grieve. K-9 Deputy Logan Fox and Sergeant Chris Ward. We learned more about the impact the deputies' lives had on their loved ones and even strangers. Sergeant Ward was 36 years old. He was born in Sugar Grove, that's in the community right there in Watauga County. He was a member of the Green Valley Baptist Church. He loved the outdoors, including hunting and fishing. His law enforcement career began atop Beach Mountain. He was part of their police department in 2013 and then the Watauga County Sheriff's Office in 2018. He's described as a loving husband and father. Sergeant Ward leaves behind his wife, Candace, and daughters, Molly and Katie. Deputy Logan Fox lived a life of love and wanted to go in law enforcement very, very early on. He was 25 years old when he died. He was born in Florida, but spent a lot of time in Boone as a child. And then he became a part of the community when his family moved full-time to Watauga County. He attended Watauga High School, where he met the love of his life, Annalise Moody. He graduated basic law enforcement training in Wilkes Community College as valedictorian with the highest GPA of his entire class. He was recruited on graduation day in 2017 by the Ashe County Sheriff's Department, soon promoted to K-9 deputy, and then he partnered there with K-9 Raven. He moved up to the Watauga County Sheriff's Office in 2019 with his K-9 partner. Deputy Fox and Sergeant Ward were killed last week. It was April 29th, Wednesday. They were responding to a welfare check at a home on Hardeman Circle. The married couple living there hadn't been seen at work or responded to phone calls. Investigators say the deputies entered the home after finding the couple's vehicles in the yard. That's when investigators say the wife's son, 32-year-old Isaac Alton Barnes, ambushed the deputies, shot them. And after a 13-hour standoff, Barnes, his mother Michelle Ligon, and her husband George Ligon, and the 2 deputies were all dead. The deputies believe Barnes shot his mother and stepfather and the 2 deputies right before taking his own life. Our crews have been in Boone, bringing you live coverage all day long. We want to check in now with WBTV anchors Chandler Morgan and Alex Giles, where they are tonight in Boone.
A powerful moment today to see both of these fathers come together, sharing hugs, sharing tears, and sharing with us the love that they had for the both of them. A very clear message today during the funeral from the fathers and the sheriff that both of these men died heroes.
Our son's physicals were taken from us as they were serving, protecting, and fulfilling their oath as law officers. They were, and along with every single one that has taken that oath, are heroes.
And Chandler, as you mentioned, we also heard from Sheriff Lynn Hageman. He spoke during that beautiful service this evening as well, talking about wanting to support the families of Deputy Fox and Sergeant Ward and let them know that although they had lost loved ones, they would continue to get support from the law enforcement community. Take a listen to what he had to say.
Your heart hurts. You had a void that cannot be filled easily. But I want you to know that we love you. We're here for you. After this ceremony and months and weeks and years ahead.
Of course, the sheriff was just one of a few different speakers during that roughly 2-hour service, a beautiful ceremony to send these deputies off. Chandler.
Right, Alex, back to you.
All right, Chandler Morgan and Alex Giles will look for more coverage throughout the evening. It was a beautiful day today. We are looking live outside the App State Convocation Center where the funeral service was held for those deputies today. The weather was absolutely just beautiful for everyone who attended, whether they were there physically in the building or they were lining along the streetways of Boone and into Watauga County. It was really pretty out there, and we're watching the sunset right now. Very curious as to what's to come in the morning. Our chief meteorologist, Eric Thomas, is tracking all that you need to know. So, Eric, there's a rumbling that some people might get some rain in the morning.
Yeah, there could be a shower, if you can believe it, Maureen, up there in the high country where we couldn't find a cloud in the sky. And I'm going to show you that approaching rain in just a moment. But the other headline today was that cool air that showed up. And look at the size of this cool air mass. It's working its way in. If anything, it's going to continue to sag a little bit farther down into the Carolinas, reinforced by this cold front, which is pushing showers back through Kentucky and Tennessee. So that's what's going to be heading our way here over the next 12 to 24 hours. At the moment, the leading edge is about 215 miles to the west of the North Carolina mountains. So that's what we're going to be tracking. In the meantime, just enjoy your evening. 68 degrees. There you can see the sun setting over the Queen City. That, of course, your Scott Clark Toyota City weather net. So live data heading out the door right now. Mid-50s in the high country. It was a cool day up that way. And then 60s to around 70. Here it is in the Piedmont. So where's that rain going to wind up? Well, first things first, it's going to weaken here as it approaches the mountains late evening, and that trend should continue. So at most, perhaps a stray shower up that way. For our part, partly cloudy through the 11 o'clock hour, about 58 degrees. I don't see any rain just yet, Maureen, in the mountains here through the late evening hours as they drop into the 40s after midnight. So we'll get back to that weekend forecast as well. Wells Fargo Championship. It's coming up in your first alert forecast.
Well, look for that, Eric. Thank you. Charlotte-Mecklenburg police charged 54 people with pre-arranged street racing in Charlotte. 60 cars used in street racing were confiscated in the investigation. Take a look at your screen. These are just a few of the vehicles CMPD rounded up this morning after a months-long investigation into street racing. A letter penned by Police Chief Johnny Jennings will go out to about 300 people who participated in or were present at these large gatherings. The letter will notify them of the misdemeanor charges they might face and asks them to stop participating in organized races.
The activity we're talking about today coincides with a national trend known as hooning. Hooning is aggressive, brazen driving, reckless driving activities such as burnouts, donuts, street racing.
And it can certainly be dangerous. The 54 people who were charged and lost their cars will go before a judge. That judge will decide what happens to the vehicles. Police say the judge could return them, permanently seize them, or put them up for auction. Pineville police are investigating an incident where shots were fired between two cars. One person is hospitalized tonight. It happened along Park Road and Highway 51. Officers say they've ID'd both shooters and they know each other. They say it wasn't a random act of violence or road rage. No criminal charges yet, but they could come soon. We're getting a better idea tonight of how Mecklenburg County leaders want to invest in your community next year. Today, the county manager presented budget recommendations for 2022. Expenses would total about $2 billion. Here's what they want to spend all money on. More affordable housing, expanding MEC pre-K and funding CMS, reducing racial disparities by investing in communities, public health, including inside schools by hiring school nurses. And that is just scratching the surface. We also got an update on the people who were taken from Tent City to local hotels.
There are still 148 people staying at the hotels while county staff and partner agencies work to pair them with the appropriate resources to address their housing needs, such as housing applications, mental health, and substance use services.
The county manager says the Tent City situation made them realize how important it is to put an emphasis on affordable housing. The Board of County Commissioners will hold a public hearing to get input on the recommended budget. That will happen next week. They should vote on the final version sometime in June. 400 million and 500 jobs. That's $400 million that could be coming to the Fort Lawn community in Chester County. Gallo Winery in California wants to open its East Coast branch in the area. A senator who co-sponsored a bill to help them do it says the final steps are being made. Our South Carolina reporter Morgan Newell shares more details on this wine warehouse.
What used to be the site of a thriving textile mill could be the new location for the Gallo Winery Warehouse coming to Fort Lawn. Here's the 630 acres proposed for the Gallo Warehouse project. Senator Michael Fanning tells me the abandoned warehouse wouldn't be a part of the project, just the land. According to the permits, the warehouse would be used for production, bottling, and distributing wine and liquor, and a move to finalize plans could be coming soon. Fanning says a bill changing liquor laws in the state is heading to the governor's desk. The bill helps the wine giant open 3 tasting rooms within the state. Fanning says the governor's signature on the bill will be the last big boost needed to seal the deal.
Folks in the past have wanted to move to Rock Hill, wanted to move to Fort Mill. Most recently is Indian Land, that part of the state with growth. But people are going to want to move to Chester because this is a destination.
Governor McMaster is set to sign the bill, but I'm told he hasn't yet. Now, Chester County Council is going to have a meeting about this project on Friday. Reporting in Fort Lawn, Morgan Newell, WBTV, on your side.
We will watch it. We reached out to Gallo Winery about the bill heading to the governor's desk. A spokesperson sent a statement saying they are exploring potential investment opportunities on the East Coast. The company says nothing is finalized at this stage and a final decision hasn't been made just yet. We'll keep following it. Next on Primetime, it's a Carolina story that's made national news. 18 kids trapped on that hijacked school bus. They're all safe, but tonight, South Carolina investigators are looking into the man who stole the bus. We've got new information at 7. Plus, in less than 2 hours, a major bridge repair begins. What you must know in order to get around the Catawba River in the coming weeks.
Before the damage is done.
Now on Primetime, we're learning more details about a school bus hijacking. It happened in South Carolina this morning. We've been following developments all day long. According to officials, a man with a gun got on the bus filled with kids. He took a joyride. Officials say the man is a Fort Jackson trainee. Our State House reporter Adam Mincer is in Richland County where the incident happened.
Never received a call that scared me as much as the call that I got this morning.
A school bus full of kids hijacked by a man with a rifle. The Richland County Sheriff's Department says this started around 7 a.m. when a Fort Jackson trainee in physical training gear left base and tried to flag down a car on the interstate. Sheriff Lott says the suspect then got on a school bus with 18 elementary school students and with a rifle in his hand that we only now know was empty, demanded to be taken to another town, but telling the driver he didn't want to hurt anyone.
The kids started asking lots of questions to the suspect if he was going to hurt them or the bus driver. The suspect got a little frustrated. The bus was stopped close to where we're standing right now, and that's where the kids and the bus driver got off the bus.
The suspect then tried to drive the bus himself, but struggled, according to the sheriff. So the suspect stopped at an intersection and went to a nearby neighborhood looking for clothes and a ride.
This incident could have ended very tragically.
That was our Adam Mincer reporting. Thank goodness everybody is okay. Fort Jackson is claiming responsibility for the incident. The school says there are counselors available to students if they need them tomorrow. In less than 2 hours, the Catawba River Bridge project begins. You are looking at a live picture of I-77 and the bridge right there. This is live, and people already probably starting to think about what's happening. It's going to be very busy for the next couple of weeks. It is a construction that's going to have major slowdown for traffic on I-77. It closes tonight at 9 p.m. and will remain closed for at least the next 3 weeks. The I-77 bridge will shrink down to 4 lanes shared by north and southbound cars.
There's going to be significant traffic impacts. There is going to be congestion. There's no question whatsoever.
160 is going to be probably overburdened.
I have to wait in traffic for traffic that wouldn't normally be there.
We're told some exits going toward Charlotte will be closed for the next 3 weeks as well. The traffic and closures mean people have to start preparing some second and third routes, and we've got all of that for you with this story at WBTV.com. Let's talk about what the ride will look like tomorrow morning when you make your commute. Eric Thomas, I certainly don't want to have to figure out a route around the bridge because it will be a bit of a headache, but do we need to bring the umbrella?
Unlikely, Maureen. Now, perhaps a stray shower up into the high country. The big headline, no question, is underway. Actually, it is the cool air that has returned to the Carolinas, the lower humidity. And you know, with thousands and thousands of people being outdoors over the next 3 days with the Wells Fargo Championship, yeah, a lot of people are going to be affected by this trend. Now, you'll see over the last 7 days, you know, the average high right now is 78 degrees. And look at this, 5 of the last 7 days were in the 80s. So we had that humidity to come along with the ride as well. But now going forward, we are going to flip-flop this. 5 of the next 7 days will be below average, and in fact, some cases way below the average here. Some rain-cooled air perhaps helping things out a little bit, as we could see some days next week where we just simply don't get out of the 60s, and it's all part of this large cool air mass making its way into the Carolinas. You will see warmer air out to the west, but we won't be tapping into that anytime soon. So the cold front, this one here, it's weak. It'll reinforce the cool air a little bit coming over the weekend. Of course, you've already noticed the shower activity along with it. The leading edge of this, about 200 miles now to the west-northwest of the mountains, but it will be weakening as it approaches the Carolinas overnight tonight. What a fun sunset that is. Some high clouds out there. Your Scott Clark Toyota City weather net, 67 degrees. Here it is in the Queen City, as we only managed to get up to 71 degrees today. All right, so with that, 56 live data in the mountains at the moment, 60s along the I-40 corridor, Highway 52 on the eastern side of the viewing area, and then still just hovering around 70. Here it is in the Piedmont of North and South Carolina. So there's the rain, but notice it's weakening, so you'll be out the door tomorrow morning with maybe a stray shower in the mountains, not too much here in the middle of the viewing area, and then perhaps a localized shower in some of our eastern counties, but these will be scattered. So overall, no washouts. 52, that'll be your number here in the Piedmont with just a stray shower. And again, a few showers. We'll throw that in for the high country during the morning hours, your number 43. So let's continue. And you'll see the showers east of us will continue to move away. They might still redevelop, if not strengthen a little bit for the first half of the day in the mountains, and then everybody should start to see some drier weather getting in here for the second half of the day. So your numbers look like this. Really nice with those azaleas. 64 at noon, up to about 70 at 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Surrounding communities, look at those skies and look at those temperatures. Yes, around 70 with that lower humidity. We'll call it 54 in the mountains, 60s along the Catawba River up there in the Hickory area. All right, beyond that, your Saturday weather map, again, maybe a shower showing up in the high country early, but overall, yes, especially if you're anywhere close to Charlotte, you are in good shape. Mostly sunny, temperatures in the 70s, and I mean low 70s for round 2 and round 3 of the Wells Fargo, and then up to around 80 on Sunday. Humidity should really not be a factor at any point. Now, if you are looking for rain, you won't get it over the weekend too much, but Monday, yes, a disturbance moves through, and then Wednesday. So we'll put the first alert banners up there just to help focus your attention on that and give you a chance here early on to think about if you need to plan around that. That's the way it is right now. Maureen, back to you.
Eric, thank you. Here's what's new at 7:30.
It's a walk through history, but with a twist.
They used to be like, you know, a neighborhood person would take you around, show you the neighborhood. Well, COVID.
Plus, new variants of COVID are spreading, but do the vaccines work against them? It's our good question as we go on your side tonight.
This year's National Day of Prayer theme is Lord, pour out your love, life, and liberty.
It is National Day of Prayer in North Carolina. Today, Governor Roy Cooper made it official through a proclamation. He says it's a day for people of all faiths and backgrounds to express their beliefs through prayer. North Carolinians aren't the only ones taking part.
We do realize and know that, you know, if any time that we need prayer, now is that time, because all of the things that are going on in the world today.
The National Day of Prayer is held on the first Thursday of May. It was actually created in 1952 by a joint resolution of the United States Congress and signed into law by then President Harry S. Truman. I don't think prayer can ever hurt anybody. Eric, let's talk about our forecast.
Absolutely, Maureen. All right, well, we talked about the beautiful weekend. Let's talk about the backside, though. We have those first alert days. This is Monday morning. You'll see rain overspreading the area during the day on Monday. That's why we issued that first alert, kind of disruptive. Tuesday at noon, that moves off. We're in a bit of a lull, and, well, look at this. Now, Wednesday, we have another round of rain coming in. Yeah. So that's going to be the 2 days to kind of dodge the raindrops next week. Outside of that, wow. Look at the Wells Fargo Championship over the weekend. Sunshine, low temperatures, low humidity, and then those days with the rain next week. Maureen, back to you.
Mother's Day looks fabulous, Eric. Thank you. On Your Side Tonight is next. Here's Jamie.
Well, Maureen, coming up here, several of those arrested in the Capitol insurrection had a military background. So is there a problem in the ranks with extremism? We're hearing from veterans. Plus, turning back the clock while taking a stroll, we'll tell you about a new way to learn Charlotte's history. And an emotional day comes to an end in Boone. The sights, the sounds that will stick with all of us for a long time. Next, as we go On Your Side Tonight.